What's good, folks? How was everybody on this beautiful Friday? Y'all good? Well, I'm making this video because I just got a nice book haul. I went to a sale yesterday, and I collected me some good books. As you can see, I'm a reader, I am a collector. And because there are so many people I see that like to discuss history on social media, and they base what they believe, I have to use that word believe here, what they think they know on videos and reels that somebody made. And when they see this, they get confirmation bias because it supports their view of a thing. They're not worried about, is this information accurate? They see it and, oh yeah, this is the truth. Here. It's like anytime you argue or you engaging a person about some information, right, on something they post, and you challenge them on it, 9 times out of 10, they're going to post a video as a response to you. They will never expound on the video. A video can be 50 fucking minutes. They're not going to give you timestamps or any specific points from the video because they can't articulate it. They just heard what they wanted to hear and boom, they consider that proof. That's not how this shit works, fam. You have to read you have to read more than just books. You have to find primary source material, contemporary newspaper accounts from the time period that you're talking about. If you're talking about 1860s, read, God, folks, you have newspapers.com. Of course, these are paid sites, but if you want the information, you got to spend money. Can't be a cheap ass and think you know it all. You can't learn everything there is to learn about a subject watching goddamn TikTok. Now, if you want to go learn how to build something, you want to learn a certain exercise, you want to learn a skill even, YouTube and videos is good for that. But when it comes to the history shit, it's cool only for people who are going to fact check it before they accept that information. And that's a very small margin of people that fact check anything. Most people, like I said, they get confirmation bias. They see a thing, yup, and that's it. Now they share it and they spread this shit and they make all these goofy ass claims. I sit back and I watch this and I laugh most of the time. I don't even say nothing. I'll check out a thing and I'll be like, and there's people I like as people. And I'm like, man, y'all got to tighten up. Y'all got to get it together. But it's just, this shit is crazy, man. Anyway, I wanted to share some of these books I got at this sale. About 3 of these came from Amazon, but the rest came from the bookstore I went to yesterday. So I got this. I bought this one off of Amazon. Blinds, Distortions of Historical Facts. And to be honest, I didn't even read what it was about. I saw the title and I was sold. However, as I kind of flipped through it, I see a lot of Old Testament, New Testament, Jesus talk, Hebrew shit. And I'm really not that interested in religious conversations, for or against. Like I did that 15 years ago, was debating Christianity. I don't want to do that shit no more. I don't care nothing about that. So I may or may not read that book. This was a book, Africa's Roots in God, the knowledge of the Creator embedded in the indigenous African culture. Now, I actually had this book on PDF many years ago, and I read parts of it. I never finished it. And I was just curious. I do believe the author of this book practices Christianity as well as indigenous African traditions. So I was curious as how he connects those two. So that's why I was like, I saw it and I was like, let me get this and reread this again at some point. This one, Dark Minute. Yeah, I just fucked that all up. Dark Midnight When I Rise. The story of the Jubilee singers who introduced the world to the music of Black America. I don't know anything about the Jubilee Singers, to be honest with you. I believe they started in Fisk University in Tennessee, Nashville, I believe. Let me see here. Yes, Fisk Jubilee Singers. That's the extent of my knowledge. So it was just like something to increase it. So I got that one. Let me see here. We got Finding a Place Called Home, A Guide to African American Genealogy and Historical Identity by Dr. D. Palmer Woodtor. Now, for people who know what I do, I am my family's genealogist. I've been doing this work since about 2013, so 12 years at this point. And I got several other books down here. Excuse that shirt on the floor. You got Professional Genealogy. There's another one, where is it at? Personal History Business Genealogy 101. And I have two more. They should be in this stack, but they're not. And I'm not sure where they are. But I am one of those people that you can never have too many books on one subject. Because I like to, that's what a researcher does, right? You don't just read one side or one book and think you have it all figured out. You read the pro side, you read the con side, and you read the neutral side. This is how you remove your own personal bias, because when you're researching, when you're studying history, your bias has no place in it, because it's going to skew what you accept as facts. You're going to discard this and you're going to only accept this because it's aligned with your views. But that's not how history works. History is history, and you can't change history. You can't rewrite history. People try. A lot of y'all try. Now, I ain't talking about white folks. Y'all try to rewrite history. And that's a huge problem. I have a problem with that. Anyway. Civil War Curiosity, Strange Stories, Oddities, Events, and Coincidences. It just caught my attention. I want to study the Civil War period as well. Beyond the River, The Untold Story of Heroes of the Underground Railroad. I have several books on Underground Railroad and things, but like I said, you can never have too many books, or you can never read too many things on, or too many sources on one particular subject. I want to read everything. Always something new to gain. You will never know it all about a thing. Remember that. You will never know it all about a thing. Even PhDs consistently study their field well beyond their schooling. They study. Y'all need to study, or shut the fuck up. New England Bound, Slavery and Colonization in Early America. I am actually working on something right now. Hold on, I'm not going to read what I'm working on, but I'm going to give you the title of what I am working on. And a lot of this stuff I won't be able to share with y'all for a long time, till I finish the complete thing. I just kind of mention it vaguely. Let's see where we at. We are right here. Give me 1 second. I'm making this long ass video. Probably one motherfucker will watch. But alright. Speaking of colonization, I'm writing something titled "What the Colonial Period Texts Say About Negroes and Indians." Some of the sub-chapters or subsections that I have in here. Let's see here. We got King Philip's War, 1675, 1676, and Indians in the Black Mine. This is a very important section right here that I'm working on. I can't provide anything from it right now because there would be no point to the book or to what I'm working on. So anyway, next, Black Southerners in Gray, Essays on Afro-Americans in Confederate Armies. And it's actually a wonderful chapter in here. I was reading it yesterday. Louisiana's free men of color. And the reason that stood out to me, I can share it with you. Which one was it? It's got to be, it's not 9. Hold on. It's got to be 7, not 9. Let's see here. Paper Genesis. No, it's not that one. It's got to be 7. Yeah, it's in this one. Slaves, servants, and black slave owners. There's a reason I titled it that. In some of the subtitles, I think I have here, the codification of racial slavery, Code Noir, French colonies, and that's where this comes into play because Louisiana was a French colony, and they had a thing called the Gens de Couleur Libre, who were a group of free black people, or free people of color, because most of them were considered Creoles or Griffs, if you will, which are mulatto people. Some mixed native, white, and African, okay? A lot of them sided with the Confederacy. They sided with white folks, and this is why that stood out to me. So I'm going to have to revisit that section and after finish reading this. Global African Presence, Edward Scobie. This is actually a book I've sold several copies of over the years that I never read myself. So I was just like, let me get a copy from me. Choctaw Confederates. Now I'm looking at you, nigga Indians. Now this book is well researched and goes into a lot of history of black and native relations, because native people sided, in particularly the 5 civilized tribes, with the Confederacy from 1860 until the conclusion of the Civil War in 1865, okay? You know why? They aligned more with whites, and they did so to protect their lands. Not only that, do you know what happened in 1866? With the Choctaws, the Chickasaws, the Cherokee, you know, what your grandmama said you had, right? The Seminoles, and I'm missing one. Choctaw, Cherokee, Creeks, or Muskogees. You know what happened in 1866? Each of these 5 nations signed a treaty. And in this treaty, they gave their enslaved Africans membership in their nation, which is why you have African Creeks, which is why you have African Cherokees, which is why you have African Chickasaws, which is why you have African Seminoles, African Creeks. I already said Creeks. Like this brother here, who was not Native American, but lived among the Creeks in Oklahoma. Do you know why? Do you know who his grandfather was? If you don't, thank you. Carrying on. The race for Timbuktu in search of Africa's city of gold. That just caught my attention. Race and intelligence. The fallacies behind the race IQ controversy. Another one just caught my attention. Shaka Zulu, obviously, just caught my attention. My life at Ethiopia's progress. Haile Selassie. I read some of this years ago, but I never finished it. Now, this was a story I had never heard.